Well, the manufacturer of EpiPen responding to widespread outrage after the price of the life-saving drug has skyrocketed. Mylan announcing a program this week that will give some patients a discount if they pay for the medication out of pocket. The CEO says the problem lies with the American healthcare system.
Here's the perverse thing. Had we reduced the list price, I couldn't ensure that everyone who needs an EpiPen gets one. So we went around the system. That's what we announced today. This savings card is equivalent to cash, $300. So effectively, we're cutting the price in half, but we're letting you take control of that. We're letting the patient take control of that. The reality is, in the brand pharmaceutical market, this isn't an EpiPen issue. This isn't a Mylan issue. This is a healthcare issue. Pharmaceuticals, the irony is that the system incentivizes higher prices.
Charley Grant joins us, a reporter for the Wall Street Journal covering the healthcare industry. What's interesting in that interview is she was asked repeatedly, why would you hike it up 600%? Cost $4 to make. She never offered an explanation. She blamed Congress. She blamed healthcare system. Didn't explain or justify a 600% increase. Isn't that price gouging?
I mean, yes and no. I mean, I'm not going to tell anyone to not be upset about what Mylan has done. Americans are justifiably fed up with the price of health care. But Heather Bresch, in her interview yesterday, made some pretty interesting points about the healthcare system that I think...
Really? Like what?
That higher deductible health insurance plans are on the rise.
Yeah, no question about that. What does that have to do with her company and price gouging?
Well, the fact of the matter is that competition would force them to bring the prices down. Other companies have devoted significant resources to an EpiPen competitor. Big guys with big resources.
Why don't they bring the price down? Because it's the right thing to do. And 47 million people rely on this life-saving drug, especially children. I mean, isn't this unconscionable to increase the price from $100 to $600?
Well, as long as we have a for-profit healthcare system, you know, there have been competitors who've tried to make a drug. It doesn't work. Sanofi had to recall its product because they dispensed an incorrect dosage. That would be a problem. I mean, I don't think Americans would want a treatment for an emergency.
You know what really stinks about this is at the same time they increase the price of this from $100 to $600, and again, it's life-saving. People depend on it. Her salary goes up in 1 year time from $2.4 million to almost $19 million. So that stinks. It also stinks that she lied that she had an MBA. And when you look into her background, how did she get her job? Her dad, who happens to be a U.S. senator.
Okay, so you make fair points, but my question is, what do we solve in terms of the drug price by throwing Mylan under the bus here? This is not the first pharma company.
How about throwing Bresch under the bus? I mean, she could, with a wave of her wand, she's president of the company, reduce the price.
Her investors would fire her if she did that.
No, I don't think they would, because their pricing, their stock price may go down with all of the fallout, especially if Congress investigates, and the Department of Justice for a Sherman Act antitrust violation.
Those are serious problems. We'll see what comes of those, but I mean, I don't think we are aware of any formal investigation just yet into antitrust violations. Mylan.
Well, the White House today said it's hard to deflect blame on the increase to anything. Hillary Clinton says it's wrong and outrageous. Congress is vowing an investigation.
Fair enough, but I would point this out to you. Teva Pharmaceutical Industries, a rival company, wanted to buy Mylan for $40 billion last year. Do you think they did that with the goal of setting a fair price for EpiPen?
Yeah.
Mylan trades at $25 billion now. They're willing to pay a lot more for it.
The spokeswoman for Heather Bresch, the company president, on Wednesday night quit. She was so outraged and livid over what Heather Bresch has done. She said Bresch is not honest and not telling the truth. So again, hasn't she increasingly replaced Martin Shkreli as the poster child for greed, who is profiting from the sick and the poor? Sure.
But you know what? Martin Shkreli's drug price, Daraprim, is still where he hiked it to today.
Yeah.
So no one liked Martin Shkreli. People were well within their rights to criticize him for the things he's done. But you know what? The price hasn't moved. So, I mean, politicians can trot these companies out, or they can try and propose solutions. Those are hard. There are hard questions that need to be asked about the American system, no doubt about that. But I just don't see how throwing Mylan under the bus, and maybe I'm not saying that they don't deserve it, but you know what? It won't solve anything.
Okay, good point. Charley Grant, thanks for being with us.
Thank you.